Republican lawmakers getting an earful over the holiday about efforts to repeal and replace Obamacare. Maine Senator Susan Collins saying health care was the only big issue voters were talking about. Other Senate Republicans also facing pressure and protests ahead of a vote that could come as early as next week. Chris Plant is a syndicated radio talk show host. Leslie Marshall is a Fox News contributor and a syndicated radio talk show host as well. So this is battle of the talk show radios. Let me ask you first, Chris, do you believe that this is the only issue that she heard about over the holidays? A lot of people were talking health care.
Yeah, that's true. Healthcare has been a front burner issue in the media. I don't think that the people showing up at Susan Collins' town hall meeting have read the bill. I don't think they're getting a fair depiction of it in the media. And she should also recognize that when that's all she's hearing, that it's very astroturfy. Look, the disruptions of the town hall meetings have been modified slightly, but they still show up and they dominate. And then the media talks about, oh, this is all the people are talking about is that terrible, awful Republican health care, Obamacare repeal bill. And it looks very astroturfy from here. You showed video. People had professionally made posters, protest signs with union labels on them and so on.
So
it
artificial. You're saying by
astroturfy.
astroturf it looks very artificial.
Yeah.
Leslie, let me ask you, so this is what Senator Collins said. There was only that one issue. That's unusual. It's usually a wide range of issues. I hear over and over again encouragement for my stand against the current version of the Senate and House health care bills. People were thanking me over and over again. Thank you, Susan. Stay strong, Susan. Right. Leslie, I have to say it is very hard for me to believe that many people understand the intricate details of this bill and how it's different from the House. And when people have lives to live, they're not able to study this stuff all day like we do. So this doesn't ring true to me.
Right.
Well, the polls show that we now have a low of 12%. That's the number. 12% of Americans support this. And I think what we're hearing is people saying, hey, look, put me the people over politics.
Hang on, Leslie, do you think that they really understand enough of it to say, I mean, 11% may say they support it because the rest are like, I don't really know what's there, so I can't say I support it.
No question that they're not going to know as much as the three of us and others who do this for a living. However, they do know when the CBO comes out and says, look, 26% decrease in Medicaid by 2026, and then has more information showing the longer this goes on, you then have a 35% decrease by 2036. They understand less people and more people getting kicked off. They also understand that premiums are not going to be lowered, which is one of the huge issues they wanted to address. And they do see that the tax breaks and the benefits go to the wealthy, the upper class, not the middle and lower income families. And I think that's enough just from the CBO and other information that they've received thus far to make that determination.
I appreciate your politeness, but we want to get in our second issue before we run out of time. And this is that voter fraud issue. So the Maryland Attorney General, who is Brian Frosh, does not want to go along with this. And he says the commission's request that Maryland officials provide them with voter data is repugnant and appears designed only to intimidate voters and to indulge Trump's fantasies that he won the popular vote. So he's not going to do it. Leslie, do you think this is a smart move, or should you just let the investigation go if you believe that it's not going to show anything? Prove him wrong.
Right.
Quite frankly, I don't think, if you have nothing to hide, don't hide. Put it out there. Right. It does get concerning to me as an American, whether you're in Maryland or California like I am here, that we would have such information going out, because we do have a lot of issues right now where people feel that they're being oppressed if they're a certain race or demographic. And of course, people sometimes are afraid to vote because they are concerned with fraud and they are concerned with lack of privacy. And that does weigh into this issue. So I understand his response. I don't agree with it 100%.
Chris.
Well, virtually all of that is pure myth generated by the Democrat Party for a variety of very sinister reasons. Brian Frosh is a very partisan, I live near the border of Maryland in D.C., very partisan, very ambitious politician. And I've got to say, you know, Dr. Lecter didn't want the FBI to look in his storage locker. Bernie Madoff didn't want the SEC looking at his business practices. And the Democrats don't want an investigation into voter fraud. And there must be a very good reason for that. And the more they protest, the lady doth protest too much, the more I'm convinced that there is something there to see. And I agree with Leslie. the more that they run and hide, the more I'm convinced that there's something that they're hiding. And look, I grew up in Chicago, Democrat family. I know people, family members that got the dead out to vote on Election Day. It's real.
Yeah. At the same time, she is right. People are worried about their privacy at the polls, and that's, you know, sacrosanct to sit there and say that somebody can go in and see what they're
dodge.
voting.
It's another straw man set up by the Democrats. All
right, guys, you're always fun. Back to the radio now. All right. See you later. World leaders